What is going on, guys? Predator458 and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my video review of the T-80 Tier 7 Soviet main battle tank. But not only that, in this video I'm also going to announce the details on how to enter the competition to win one of my remaining 20 codes for the Chieftain Mk Leader Tier 5 British Premium Main Battle Tank, that ultra exclusive thing that everyone is just dying to get their hands on. So basically, I'm not going to run a formal competition like I did last time. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose random comments from the part 1 video, the part 2 video, from this video, and any future Armored Warfare video that I do until such time as the codes have been all given out. So that's how you have to enter. Just leave a comment on any of those videos, this one, the next one, whatever, and I will pick random comments and they will receive one of my 20 remaining Chieftain Mk leader codes. But anyways, on to today's video, and as I said, it's going to be a review of the T-80 main battle tank. Now we're just going to jump straight into the gameplay and we'll go over stats and that sort of thing while the gameplay is running in the background. Alright, and welcome to the PvE match. We are on Ghostfield, and on screen now will be the stats. As you can see, 603 damage, 501 millimeters of pen, 2,219 hit points, max speed of 68.4, 0 to 32, 7.65, decent camo, not a very good view range. Gun depression is okay, -7 at the front, -3.5 at the rear. Turret reverse, pretty good. Reload time, 8.4 seconds, kind of meh. Same for accuracy. Targeting time, 2.47 is okay. Now the reason why I'm doing this is, for me personally, when I watch tank reviews, I don't particularly enjoy sitting watching the garage and the stats for 10 minutes and then going to the gameplay. So I thought I'd just give you the stats. I'll leave them on screen for a while. You can look at them. Now this particular game is not particularly good. And I chose to show this game for one particular reason. I've had better games in the T-80. I've had worse games in the T-80. But this game kind of shows off what I like and what I do not like about the tank. The mobility is very, very good. I mean, you can see with the first one's down here. And we've got a target M1 Abrams. We're going to try and take a shot underneath this gun. Managed to penetrate 651 damage. That's another very good thing with this tank. And we go a little bit too far back there and end up pointing our underbelly towards the enemy. So it makes, it's no surprise that they penetrated the shot. But the gun is really, really nice when the accuracy works, when the penetration works, and their accuracy doesn't work. We can't even hit the cupola. So as I said, the reason why I'm using this video is because it goes to show the good and the bad, in my opinion, with regards to this tank. So far we've seen the good mobility, the high penetration and damage on the gun, but the armor is not particularly good, and this is where the T-80 loses out for me. As with any Soviet main battle tank, and even Russian ones like the T-90 MS, all of them have the same issue. The lower front plate is the weak spot. And we try to put one underneath his gun, and it doesn't quite work out. So we're just going to wait, and we're going to pop forward again. And I was, again, getting a lot of lag. And, I mean, you can just see it here. Whatever's happened with the internet cable hasn't sorted itself out yet. But the other problem with this tank is not just the lower front plate. Because, I mean, you can just see this horrendous lag, and I do apologize, but it will sort itself out. And unfortunately, artillery is convinced we need to be eradicated. But it's not just the lower front plate. Even if you hide that, the biggest problem with the T-80 is the fact that all your rival Tier 7 tanks can pretty much penetrate you every time through the turret ring, sort of aiming just underneath your gun barrel. And I know this because it's been happening in this match. One thing I was hoping with rewatching it, and there we go, we were able to do the same 612 damage. I was hoping that by rewatching it, I'd see that maybe I was exposing a little bit too much here. I probably did because of the lag, and we managed to get that kill. But also, sometimes I do think my position was fine. All I was exposing was my turret, but they were still able to put a shot through my turret underneath the gun, through the turret ring. And that's the big problem. And we're just trying to take shots at this Challenger. We managed to immobilize him and damage his fuel tank. And now we're going for that weak spot on the side of his turret. And unfortunately, it does start to move. We take the shot anyway, but we don't lead quite enough. And that really is the problem with this tank, in my opinion. Got a green pen marker, fire, but someone beats us to it. Is the fact that I don't really know how to use it. Because if you go hold down, your turrets are still exposed, and if you can shoot, it's exposed enough for them to penetrate you. You can try rushing them, but your lower front plate is so easy to penetrate that they'll be able to hit you even on the move. But, you know, the alpha damage is good, the pen is good, the mobility is good. In further news, it has come to light that the T-80 that is modeled in-game was actually modeled after a prototype T-80, which is why it might be underperforming, why its armor might not be as good. BMD4 comes over, we plant a shot, 674 damage, and why you can go through the turret ring, why there's no ERA and all that sort of stuff. So they are actually completely redoing the model. We've got this weasel, we try and take a shot, but we're not even close to being fully aimed in, and we miss horribly. We are spotted, and a Centurion 120 takes us out. So let's head off to the results and see how we landed up doing. 2,236 reputation, just under 100,000 credits, 2,279 damage, 999 spotting damage, and 3 spots. We came third place on our team with 1,262 base XP. I think we also came third place on our team by damage. Enemy team, BMD4 did really well, 3,500 damage, and enemy T-80, 4,200 damage. I'd love to know how he plays it, because I just can't seem to make this thing work in PvP. But anyways, that is it for the PvP portion. Let's head off to the PvE match and see if maybe this tank does a little bit better against the bots. Right, and welcome to the PvE match, Operation Hydra, if I'm not mistaken, and we begin the match immediately with a nice little lag spike. I'm in a platoon with Anti-Alligator, who is a fellow South African player, and he's mostly a PvE player, and we just kind of platooned up. We weren't on voice comms or anything like that, and we were just messing around one of the evenings. So we've taken our first shot. We did nearly 700 damage to the warrior, fire at the superior stingray over there, and do another 548 damage. Now, take a shot at him, but unfortunately he dies before our round gets there. In my experience so far, PvE is where the T-80 kind of shines. This is where I've had fun with it, this is where I've made it work. Shot 631 damage into the side of the Ramka 99. You do still sometimes take damage even when facing the bots, because obviously your lower front plate is still a weakness, but generally, obviously bots don't aim particularly well, they don't go for weak spots, and you survive much better. Another lag spike there, shot into the Thunderbolt, but unfortunately it looked like we kind of hit his track, and there we go, 611 damage from the Thunderbolt, and we put a shot into him, 636 damage, very nearly finish him off. Leopard 2A6 coming towards us, we got a green pen marker there, 645 damage. So this is, as I said, this is where I've actually enjoyed this tank, had fun with it, and it's kind of worked for me. By all means, if you've got tips for how to use this thing, I'm all ears, because, I don't know, I kind of like main battle tank to not be completely vulnerable when facing forward to the enemy. So we've pushed down here, all of us, largely, except we've got a Ramka 99 up at A8, camping at the very back. Not sure what he's doing. Fire one into his engine block on this Ariete, and we have a green pen marker there, but apparently not directly over the engine. So just looking for somewhere where we can penetrate him. Back of the turret, 592 damage. This thing just racks up damage so quickly with the massive alpha damage. And as I said, that's something I do really like. I think generally you kind of have to use this thing as a support tank, and that's, you know, that's not my playstyle. Back of the turret on the Abrams, 657 damage, and I'm talking at least with support tank being in PvP. You know, not necessarily frontline, behind things like your Challenger, maybe Leopard 2A, sorry, the Tier 7 Leopard 2. That thing's still got a weak lower front plate, but at least if it can hide that, the front of the turret is pretty much impenetrable. We take some damage from this Panzer howitzer, or whatever this thing is called, put in another shot to finish him off for a mere 127 damage. So yeah, we're going to go and move towards the missile launcher. In case you didn't know, you just run them over, don't waste a shot. You're going to run out of ammo in these hard PvE missions enough as it is. You're going to need every round you can spare. So we now got to push across the river. My platoon mate is calling for help. I'm moving in this demon, and I run into a wreck, obviously. This Challenger, he's behind him. I'm coming in. Ramka has finally decided to move forward, and our artillery is moving up as well. Challenger turns into me, unfortunately, and slows everything down. But we're going to move up, and what do we have here? Stingray 2, going to put a shot into his side, only 600 damage, so a slightly low roll. Probably could have used and gotten away with heat there. Definitely could get away with heat against this guy. But you know what? The thing is, I tend to not use my heat that much because it always gets me into trouble. I'll load heat, I'll fire, get ready to fire heat, and then next minute I've got a front of a main battle tank pointing towards me, or something covered in ERA, and I'll end up being in the shit because I can't do anything. So looking for somewhere we can penetrate on these guys. The Abrams is very nicely going to turn and give us his booty. And here we make, I think it's here, we're going to make a colossal mistake. We're going to move too far out, and we're going to take some fairly serious damage here, or we will any minute now. So taking some autocannon fire from the side, and I think we've been tracked here, and we've got all these big guns pointing us, so we're now down to 548 hit points. So now I'm not feeling too aggressive anymore, I'm not feeling too smart. Take another shot from the side, down to 380 hit points. And I think we had just burned our field maintenance kit, and that hit that came in at the last second was actually the one that reduced us all the way down to 379. So we may have actually been dead had we not done that just in the nick of time. What is that? Leopard 2A6. The spotted indicator was in the way of the name. So just taking the lead on this Abrams, managed to track him, 581 damage. I'm just waiting for it to reload. Reload of 8.4, you know, it's alright, could be better. But, you know, as with a lot of these Soviet and Russian main battle tanks, if you want that reload to come down, you have to use a retrofit. I think commander perks will also come into effect, but there's no loader that you can, you know, choose rapid fire on. Shot into the engine of the M1 Abrams, or the M1A2 I think that was, set him on fire and finish him off. T-90 Lieutenant, still waiting on my T-90 by the way. He stopped, put another shot into his booty and set him on fire again, and that finishes the T-90 off. So another missile launcher on our our right hand side, but I think the Challenger is going to go and get it. We're spotted is another M1 Abrams. Where are we going to be able to shoot him? He's exposing his side slightly, so we put one through, 650 damage, and we damage his engine slightly. But you got to be, we've got to be very careful right now. We are one shot to anything firing armor piercing, pretty much. So we do have to be rather careful. And thankfully, the enemy has, the bots have rather left us alone. Shot into the Stingray, another 621 damage, and we're closing in on 20,000 damage, which is always a very nice number to get to in a PvE match. Doesn't matter what tier you're at. It's always very nice. Shot into the Abrams, 224 damage, and we finish him off. That was actually our 10th kill. Now we're in trouble. We're facing side onto this Leopard 2, but thankfully he wasn't paying attention to us. So we're able to get our frontal armor pointed towards him and put a shot into his side. Waiting on the reload, he's turning his gun, fires, bounces. So we're going to go for an engine shot again, but track damage, unfortunately. That was a really shitty shot, or shitty RNG. Kind of hit where it needed to, but maybe a little bit low, but could have still given us something. We managed to track him there, I think, and do some more damage, and this will finish him off, 440 damage. And there we got a BMD4. Fortunately, lose sight of him. And here we got a Bradley. Shot in, 577 damage. And My platoon mate is saying we need to cap. Still got 3 minutes, and I don't think this is one of those games where entering the cap triggers a massive rush by the enemy. Once you get onto this side of the river, they're kind of just constantly rushing. So you can shot in on the move, or just as we stop, not fully aimed in 658 damage. But on this one, I think you can, as soon as you get to the side of the river, if you want, you can start capping. BMD4 gets a shot in, 115 damage, tracks us, but we are able to kill him before he can put in a second shot. 13th kill of the match, 2 minutes and 23 seconds remaining, and that's all the enemies dealt with, and we win the match. So let's go to the results and see if we managed to get the blue star, and unfortunately we did not. 5,500 research or reputation, just under 70,000 credits, 21,084 damage done, 6,500 spotting damage, 13 spots, and I think that's the teamwork award because we didn't lose any allied players. Unfortunately, our dick of a platoon mate stole the blue star. We did considerably more damage than him. He got more spots, and we did a lot more kills, but he got a lot more assists. So in the end, he got 200 reputation points more than we did. But still, top 2 on our team, managing to beat out the 2 tier 8s. But I mean, it was a Ramka and an artillery piece. So, T-80. It's kind of okay. Truth be told, I prefer the M1 and the Challenger. I haven't actually used the Leopard 2 yet, but I imagine I will prefer that as well, because if you do hide that lower plate, the turret is pretty much impenetrable, as far as I know. I haven't really ever been able to penetrate the turret on one of those things. But it's not a bad tank, and as I said, if you've got any tips or tricks on how to get the best out of this thing, please feel free to let me know, because, you know, as I said, if you hide the lower front plate, they can just go through your turret. So unless you can find like the absolute perfect size obstacle that's going to cover everything up to your barrel, you know, they can still get you from the front. But anyways, don't forget to leave a comment on this video or the part 1 and 2 Chieftain Mark 6 giveaway videos to stand a chance to win one of the 20 remaining codes. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button down below and consider subscribing for more Armored Warfare, World of Warships, and a few other things that are thrown to the mix from time to time. That's it from me. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is Predator 458 signing off, and I will see you guys next time.